Today I will be talking about the compression ignition engine, otherwise known as the diesel engine, and its history. Some of the practical applications that has for us in everyday life is that it is used in semi-trucks. Semi-trucks haul supplies, toilet paper, medical supplies, masks, and many other things that are needed now. One reason that I have been interested in the diesel engine is because my grandfather has a pickup that has a diesel engine in it, and I like to work on it, and other vehicles around the property. Today I will be covering three main points, talking about different people: Rudolph Diesel, Robert Bosch and Volvo, and Clessy Cummins. Rudolph Diesel. Rudolph Diesel. He was a inventor, and he found his inspiration for his compression engine from natives in the forest who used rods and tubes to create, with one end of the tube sealed, and then they would ram the rod with a piece of tinder or dry lint or anything that would burn in the rod until it became hot enough for that lint or wood to burn. So, Rudolph Diesel thought that he could use that in a practical application in an engine to help, instead of using spark as the ignition source, use air. So, he had his first patent in 1892, and he had his first working engine in 1893. In 1893, his engine had compressed air to inject coal dust as the fuel into the cylinder. And he had some setbacks because of the size. The size of the engine, it was 10 feet tall, so it wasn't very practical for use in movable objects. So it was used mainly in factories and ships. And it produced only about 18 horsepower and had 152 revolutions per minute. Robert Bosch, he wanted an engine that would be thermal efficient. Thermal efficiency is basically how much heat is used to be put into the engine. And so, during that time, steam engines were still being used, and steam engines only got about 7 to 8% thermal efficiency. Well, Rudolph Diesel's engine produced 26% thermal efficiency. That is pretty good for an engine during that time. Nowadays, the most thermal efficient diesel engine makes about 50% thermal efficiency. So about half and half. So say you're burning 5 gallons of fuel. You'd only be using 2.5 gallons of fuel for work, and the rest of that fuel would be thrown away in the exhaust and the heat that the engine puts out. If we had a 100% thermal efficient engine, it would be cool to the touch, and the exhaust wouldn't really have any need for exhaust. We'd need some way to let the gases escape, but there wouldn't be that much of exhaust. Nowadays, new diesel engines, they produce nearly zero emissions with even burning petrol fuel. And so Rudolph Diesel, I get Rudolph Diesel and Robert Bosch mixed up. Rudolph Diesel, he was, in 1913, he committed suicide by jumping off of a ship, most likely because his engines were being used in wartime during World War One, which got other and the diesel engine got other interested inventors to build things such as injection pumps, such as Robert Bosch's injection pump, and governors. Volvo in the 1950s built not superchargers, but they are similar to superchargers, which is turbochargers, which uses the air coming into the vehicle and the exhaust to power the turbocharger so it can compress more air into the diesel engine so that you can burn with less fuel yet still have more power. And this got other people interested, such as Plessy Cummins. Plessy Cummins, he built the first Cummins engine company in 1929. Plessy Cummins retrofitted a 7-passenger limousine with his Model U diesel engine. His Model U diesel engine was very efficient. He was able to drive across the United States on $11 of fuel. And this got people interested in the diesel engine. So Plessy Cummins, he was involved in endurance racing, and he built some of the first production manufactured cars in diesel engines. And now that I come to a close, one thing that is really interesting about the diesel engine is that the fuel it takes to burn, it does not take as much fuel to burn, so it runs lean. So you do not burn 50-50 air-fuel mix, such as the gasoline engine. So you can burn lean and only use the fuel that you need. Now coming to a close. We went over Rudolf Diesel's first production of the diesel engine. We went over Robert Bosch and Volvo's contribution to the diesel engine. And Plessy Cummins, who was the first Cummins engine manufacturer. And now that I need to go, I'd rather be a Cummins than a Strokin'.